How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the markets were all over the place today. The S&P went down 0.2%. The Dow went down 0.6%. The NASDAQ 100 went up 0.4% as the Russell went down 1.3%. So we got to break it down, go over some charts, my thoughts on the markets, and of course, we're going to break down a bunch of stocks. So sit back, relax, grab your 2 stocks from Webull down below. Check out my Patreon if you guys want my real-time buys, sells, call outs, and you guys get a morning update video every single day. If you're in the top tier, that's on Patreon, and all of those are linked down below. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So you guys can see the markets finally saw some sort of pullback today, although we did see a rebound heading into the latter half of the day. As you guys can see here on SPY, if I pull up the intraday chart, you can see kind of a V-shaped recovery. We dropped from about 434 this morning and we went to about 430, so we lost about 1% towards the middle of the day. And then, like clockwork, once 1230 hit here on the East Coast, the middle of the day, we ended up rebounding and pretty much gaining back all of that loss. And now we're down a bit after hours in the post market session here. We're down about, what, 60 cents, 70 cents from that closing price. So we ended up going down 0.2% on the day for SPY, and now we're down another 0.2% roughly after market hours. So it looks like on the 4-hour chart, let me show you guys the broad perspective here, a broad view of SPY. You guys can see we sold off. It looks like we held the 50 moving average here, and by the looks of it, the uptrend is continuing, but not so fast, because look at this now. The 5-day, 5-minute shows we're struggling at a lower high here on this time frame, right under the 180 SMA. Now we're selling off, like I said, after market hours. So we're kind of in this gray area right now on SPY where we sold off aggressively, we got the snapback, but now we're waiting for the next move. Do we end up breaking out of, this 5-day, 5-minute resistance? Do we break out of that point and the high point from earlier today at about 433? If that were to happen, yeah, guys, all-time highs could be hit in the very short term. So for that reason, I'm going to set an alert at 433.50. But now listen to this. This very well could have been a bull trap, and by this I mean the rally that we saw towards the end of the day. Because look, if we fail breaking out of that closing price today, 433, 433.50, if we fail breaking out of there, let's say tomorrow, and we end up pushing for those lows from today at about 430, and we break those lows at 430, that would not only break the lows from today, like I said, but that would also break the uptrend here on the hourly chart, or at least it'll get us down even lower towards that 180 SMA, maybe at about 428. And from there, maybe we see another pop back up similar to what we saw in the latter half of the day today. So it's kind of too early to tell whether or not this is, the start of a further sell-off, or we're going to break out and maybe make new highs. It's too early to tell, but I guarantee you, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, some point this week, this short week in the markets that we have, we are going to pick direction, whether it's under 430, which I forgot to set my alert there. Mark is at or below. Let's put it at 430, whether it's under 430 or above 433.50. So we're in a wedge. That's what it is. We're in a wedge, and we need to see what direction we end up picking here for obviously further direction. And when it comes down to QQQ, it's kind of a different story. I mean, this hit all-time highs earlier today, just above $360 per share. We sold off like SPY, and we got that V-shaped recovery, and now it looks like we're pushing up to all-time highs again. And quite honestly, by the looks of it, I would not be surprised if we momentarily, temporarily, whatever you want to call it, hit all-time highs maybe tomorrow, some point this week. But overall, like I've been saying, and I'm still sticking to this is so overbought. I mean, QQQ, the RSI screaming red, guys. It's at 71, and this hasn't seen a significant pullback in the past couple of weeks. I mean, months pretty much. We haven't pulled back in about 2-3 months now. So we need to see a pullback, whether it's to 345, 340, 350. Something needs to give here. And a lot of these tech stocks, they're just ridiculously overpriced right now. They're very hot. Shopify's too hot in my personal opinion. And by the way, we actually called this move out yesterday on YouTube. So if you guys caught that, kudos to you. Amazon's way too hot. I mean, Amazon, we also called this out. We hit a brand new all-time high today. And one could argue Google's too hot. Google's too hot. Facebook's too hot. And these are obviously dragging up the markets, whether it be SPY, QQQ. Both of these are being pulled up because of these big tech stocks. So something needs to give here, whether it's next week, this week, a month from now. It's going to happen, and I'm going to be ready due to the amount of cash that I do have on the sidelines. I'm going to be ready to take advantage of the dips here in the overall market. So what do you guys think? Drop me a comment. Make sure to smash that like button. And did you guys see the VIX today? Holy crap. I mean, the VIX today was up 9%. Earlier in the day, it was up something like 15%. So we had a crap ton of volatility today. The metals did well. Well, actually, silver went down. I mean, silver went down 0.95%. So silver didn't do well, but gold on the flip side did very well. And I'm looking at gold here as a nice recovery play. It seems like it's found a base at about 1775. Now we're pushing up higher. I expect it, quite honestly, to fill the gap to about 1850. Maybe even higher than that if we obviously break 1850, which is also the 180 SMA resistance here on the 4-hour chart. And you guys know I'm in a bunch of gold stocks, GDX, GDXJ, and these did pretty well today. And I'm also looking at GLD, which tracks gold more on, the basis of its price. GDX and GDXJ, those are mining stocks. They're a bit different. Well, they're ETFs, which means they're comprised of a bunch of mining stocks in one tradable asset. And GLD, like I said, tracks the price of gold. So let's say gold goes up 5%. GLD, give or take, will go up, the same amount there. So what are your guys' thoughts? Drop me a comment down below. What are you up to? I'd love to know as always. And let's talk about some stocks now that I'm personally looking at. And if you look at my watch list here, guys, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me move my face a bit. Half of my watch list was green. Well, actually, it looks like 60% of my watch list was red, 40% was green, as you can see on the left here. And no surprise, I mean, the tech stocks were leading the rally today. A lot of the tech stocks in my watch list did extraordinarily well. So let's break down some of these stocks. We'll talk about some tech names in a little bit. But first, I want to go over some oversold, one oversold cruise line stock, being CCL, Carnival Cruise Line. This one is down to $25 per share now. It's in a bear market officially as of today. Today it went down 4%, down over $1 per share, and it's down from $31.50 just about a month ago, a little bit less than a month ago actually. Back on the 10th of June is when we hit that price point. So I personally think that buyers could, keyword is could, step in here as we're approaching the bottom of this channel. And this is a pretty interesting pattern here. I mean, if I redraw this, let me see if I can redraw this a bit. This looks like, okay, we're making higher highs very clearly. And look, we're trying to hold a higher low here at about $25. So we hit that higher high at $31.50. Now we're struggling to hold 25, and mind you, it's still a falling knife, so be mindful of that. But if we hold 25 here, and we ultimately break out of the downtrend on the hourly chart, which is very evident if you look on this time frame, if we do these things, and let me actually adjust my alert here, and I bet it would actually start shifting, the trend that is, if we broke 26.50. So if we were to break these points, I'm thinking CCL, there could be some upside over the next couple of weeks, next month or two. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. And I'm not approaching this as a day trade. This is more of I would say, not even a midterm swing, maybe a shorter term swing. And that's relative to everybody pretty much. It's different for everybody. Short term might mean a day or two for some people. I consider that extremely short term. But some people might think short term is a week or two, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Maybe more towards 3 to 4 weeks on this one. And look, every time we've got oversold in the past couple of months, look, we went from $23 to $30 here. We went from 25 to about 29 here. We went from 24 to 31 here. So if this drops even lower, let's say hypothetically lower 20s, I think it's eventually going to snap back. Now you have to ask yourself, are you willing to hold through some pain? Are you willing to hold through for a couple months, couple weeks? You have to ask yourself that. But for me, I like the value opening up here on CCL, and I still consider this a recovery play. I mean, I really don't think the gains are over. I mean, I feel like as we get more data in terms of earnings around the cruise lines, more people are going on these cruise ships. We obviously have a lot of pent up demand, and a lot of people are booking for, a year or 2 years ahead. As these things play out, even on the longer term, this could bounce back pretty heavily in my opinion. And another one that I'm looking at is good old Planet 13, PLN. HF is the ticker, and this one's been really consolidating. It's been range bound for the past couple of months. I mean, we've seen resistance mainly at about $7.30, support at about $6.20. So it's been around this 10-15 percentage point range for the past 2, 3, 4 months, and at this point, looks like we're holding a higher low. We're holding above the moving averages. And it looks like an ascending triangle has been forming over the past about month at this point. You guys can see higher lows with, obviously, like I said, clear resistance at 730. So I think Planet 13 has upside to squeeze to about 730 from here. And the bigger move is coming if it could break 730. I think it'll fill the gap to the higher sevens, maybe even $8. So that means there is a good 12 to 15% upside from here, especially if the ascending triangle plays out. So I'm going to set a couple of alerts here. I'm going to put one at $7.30. Mark is at or above. There we go. And actually, I'll just set one alert because that's the one that makes the most sense to me. Maybe I'll put one at $7 as well because I know that's a psychological level here on Planet 13. So if these points are able to break, I'm thinking we could make some money here on PLN HF, and Zoom is slowly turning around. Ticker symbol ZM. In fact, it has been. I mean, we've called this out. I haven't traded it, quite honestly, but we've been covering it, let's put it that way, and it's moved out of the downwards channel. We're trading above the moving averages. We're seeing a golden cross, and very recently, which we did call this out, and I mentioned to you guys, look, if it breaks 380, watch out for a move to 400 plus. Well, we broke 380. Now we're at 400. Today we went up $12, up over 3%, which is pretty impressive, and I believe there's more upside, and I'm sticking to that. I mean, I've been saying that for weeks, months, even when it was in the downwards channel, I was telling you guys, look, Zoom, I don't think it's done. I don't think the rally's over. Sure, it could be an overvalued stock, depending on what valuation metrics you're looking at, how you tend to calculate valuation. Sure, it could be a long-term or overvalued when it comes to a long-term basis, but in the short term, look, stocks move up even if they're overvalued. I mean, that's the reality of the market these days. A lot of the stocks these days are overvalued, and you're still seeing them rip higher. And especially, look, this stock's down 25, 30%. So one could argue, hey, it might go back to 500 before it ends up crashing back down closer to fair value. These are things that could happen. The markets are irrational, and a lot of people might slam me on that. Stas, what are you talking about? Zoom, it's going to go to 700, or other people might be like, Stas, it's too overvalued. Stay away from it. But the truth is, I'm looking at this from a trader's perspective, and the trend has been shifting. That is what I'm seeing, and I think it's clear blue skies ahead, especially if we break 430. But for now, we're at 400. The gap to fill is to 430, which gives it about 7-8% more upside. If that were to break, look, guys, 450 to 480 is the next level range, shall I say, that we could end up going to. And that means there's even more upside. So watch out for Zoom, ZM. Peloton is another one that I'm looking at, PTON, and this one's from a trading perspective as well. We've been calling this out for a couple of weeks. We called out the ascending triangle breakout here. If you guys remember, that was at $114. We filled the gap up to $125. We consolidated for a bit, which is very healthy considering Peloton was very overbought. And now we're not as overbought. Look, we're at 54 on the RSI. We're not seeing a bearish divergence, which is also good. So this looks healthy and poised for another breakout. And I'm going to put my alert at 125 per share. If that's able to clear, guys, I'm thinking, hold up, let me put this alert very quickly. Excuse me. I'm thinking from 125, we're going to 132. 132, 133, which was that point of resistance from the beginning of November. If that's able to break, maybe 140 in the short term. So this looks very good. The reversal's there. And again, we're poised for a breakout. We're tuning up for that breakout, and I'm super excited about it. So that's Peloton. Netflix is another one that we've also been calling out. A lot of these that we've been calling out, not to toot my own horn, guys, these have been playing out beautifully. Netflix we called out above 510, 520. I mentioned to you guys, if these levels were to break, boom, the inverse head and shoulder will complete. And what do you know? It's pretty much towards completion now. The right shoulder or the left shoulder here, the head, the right shoulder. And I mentioned to you guys, it will complete at about 555, 560. Now we're making that move up. Today we went up $6, more like $7 per share, up over 1.4%. And I mean, yeah, we are a bit overbought, which is a little worrisome, which is why I'm not jumping the gun quite yet. But listen to this. If we do pull back and see some sort of correction, maybe not even a correction because that's a 10% plus drop, 10 to 20%, that's considered a correction. So let's say a mini pullback. If we were to see a mini pullback down towards 530, 525 towards that 50 moving average here on the 4-hour chart, that would be a very, very healthy spot, in my opinion, to maybe pick up some shares. And guys, as always, do your own research, do your own due diligence. Don't buy based on my opinion. Don't do anything based on my opinion. You must always do your own research. And one thing to mention, earnings season has wrapped up, the previous earnings season. And you know what's right around the corner? Well, earnings season again. That's how it goes. I mean, once the big tech names report, you got all the other companies report, then they start fizzling out, and then before you know it, big tech's reporting again. So Netflix is reporting on the 20th of July, so 2 weeks away from now. I think this is going to be a critical report for Netflix, considering last earnings, if you guys remember, again, I cover all this on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. We covered how they missed on their subscriber numbers. I believe they were supposed to do 6 million new subscribers, and they came in at 4 million or something like that. I could be botching those numbers, but needless to say, they missed these subscriber numbers. The stock cratered, and it's been a slow recovery since. So if they miss again, don't be surprised if Netflix drops. If they come in line, if they beat, maybe that's where the stock would consolidate a bit and slowly, smoothly move back up. But if they miss, it's going to be bloody. Let's just put it that way. At least in my opinion, it's going to be bloody. So we're going to be watching Netflix earnings. I believe Apple's reporting this month, later in July. Yeah, July 27th. Amazon's got to be reporting as well very soon here, which, yeah, Amazon's 29th of July. So watch out for these big tech names. And now that we're on Amazon, we might as well break it down. Did I not call this out as well? I mean, not to toot my own horn again, guys, but we covered Amazon. We mentioned how if we break that high at 35.20, which we did today, we break above 35.50 as well, which we did today, this would fill the gap to all-time highs. Did I think it was going to happen in one day? Absolutely not. I did not think that, and it was a crazy day. I mean, when you see a $1 trillion plus company move 5% in a day, 4% in a day, that's pretty impressive considering billions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of billions. Yeah, hundreds of billions of dollars were added to the market cap today. Maybe not hundreds of billions. I might be exaggerating a bit, but at least 50 billion. Let me see on Yahoo Finance. What is Amazon's market cap? Let me see quickly, guys. Bear with me here. But overall, these tech stocks, Amazon has just been on fire. Now Amazon's market cap is 1.85 trillion. So it moved up 5% today. So what? That'd be about 90 billion market cap, 80 billion. So they gained a ton of market cap today. And I was thinking to myself, I might trim a little bit of my Amazon because I'm in this in many accounts and I'm over allocated due to it moving like crazy as of late. So I might trim a little bit. I'm not selling my entire position, guys. I'm not going to do that ever, quite frankly. But I might trim a little bit and reallocate some of that capital into some other stocks, which I might make a video on later, maybe next week at some point. If I even do trim it, I'll let you guys know. Of course, on Patreon, you get all my alerts. And WYNN is another one I'm looking at, WYNN. This is the last stock for today's video. WYNN Resorts went down 4% today, and this one's in a textbook downwards channel. In fact, it has been ever since the middle of March. You can see from $143, now it's at $117. It's down about 18%, 19%. It's pretty much in a bear market. And by the looks of it, if this trend ends up holding, which very well could happen. I mean, it has held in the past couple of months, many different occasions, on many different occasions here. If we hold this point, 115, 116, 117, and mind you, we're very oversold, I think we could end up bouncing and filling the gap back towards the resistance of this downwards channel, whether it be 120, 125, 130, maybe 135. I think that's very possible. And again, we've done it many times. Look at this. Back in the end of March, we hit 124. We rallied to about 137. You know, we hit 121. We rallied to 133. We hit 120. We rallied to 136. Now we hit another low point. We've been downtrending for over a month. I think a rebound is coming, whether it's next week, a week after, this week, I don't know. All I know is I believe, in my opinion, that it's coming. So overall, guys, that's it for this video. We talked about CCL, Planet 13, Zoom, Peloton, Netflix, WYNN Resorts, a bunch of tech stocks. I went over a little bit of what I want to do with Amazon, and of course, WYNN Resorts, which is what you guys see right here. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Drop the like button or hit the like button. Maybe consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And check out my Patreon if you guys want all my real-time buys, sells, call-outs. And by the way, today we nailed a Virgin Galactic move. I made about 4.8% again on a day trade on this, and I also traded it on Friday. If you guys see, this hit 44.50 this morning. I actually bought a little bit earlier than that at about 45.90, sold at a 48.05. So I caught this move. And again, all my moves are on Patreon if you want to see what I'm doing. And if you sign up for the top tier, you get a morning update video every day. Check it out, link down below, or you guys can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon and feel free to also get some free money. You get 2 stocks from Webull down below, $30 from M1 Finance with deposits of $100 in each of those. You get free money, and if you don't like the platforms, you take out the money. It's simple as that. So I'll catch you all later on. Thanks for tuning in again. As always, keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there. And by the way, check out my video from earlier for 4 or 5 additional stocks. I'll link that down below as well. I'll pop it up here. Click that. See you there. Peace out.